Hello everyone, my name is Cubic, and welcome back to yet another, dev recording. I'm gonna say, I guess, every single time I introduce this series. I apologize. But I hope you guys are excited for today. Today we start a new command line, so to speak. We start up working on a new command and trying to get a new project idea that I have that's going to incorporate the old project, which was the spawn porter command. As soon as I get all the dev streams or dev recordings uploaded there, then we will see that released fully. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I'm a little tired. I was up at 5 a.m. this morning. Don't ask me why. I actually had a headache, first of all, was the one thing. It's basically whenever I get I have a lot of trouble with ears and so forth. I don't want to get into too much detail because I don't want to weird anybody out, because I know people can be touchy on that stuff. But basically, whenever my ears get clogged, or one of them does, the whole back of my head gets this weird headache that feels like my head's gonna explode. So I woke up this morning, went into the bathroom, got some drops in my ears, and I was just I want to try and lay down again and go back to sleep. I got 30 minutes to sleep here before I have to go somewhere, so let me try and go to sleep. And then I laid there, headache came back, and I was like, well, I'm awake now. So yeah, that's what's going on with me. So a little bit tired, so I do apologize, but we're going to try to keep the energy going here. Hope you guys are excited, and let's switch over to game scene. There we go. And let's switch our playlist as well. Back to our dev stream playlist. And that should be good. Okay, so off camera here, guys, I've been testing a concept. Because I talked about crafting mechanisms and so forth, how I wanted to do something with crafting. And I had an idea. Now, hear me out on this. I had an idea to try something where it's the player throws down some items, if we had a stack of something. If we threw down a certain amount of items, it would craft something, is the whole point. However, it's kind of hard to do, so it's just kind of testing out a concept here. So basically, this armor stand is custom named. I don't know if I have. Yeah, I have it named as just test right now. And I had an idea for a crafting altar, so to speak. And the whole entire command for testing for if there's an item nearby is relatively simple, if I remember correctly. But I wanted to do I had another idea as well. With this altar, I imagine it being something let's get some stone and maybe some light blue wool. I imagine it being something let's see, 7 blocks wide here. Let's see, am I right here? 6, 7. Okay, and then like we would have maybe our armor stands in the center here. This is just a very basic mock-up. In fact, we can go even more and more out here. So it kind of look like a beacon if you're coming up upon it. I'm not sure what kind of blocks we'd use, but let's get a little pyramid built, and then we would have like a armor stand sitting where this blue wool is. And I had the idea, if we built some pillars that are at a certain level, like so, that each one of these pillars could affect something. And that's what I was testing with this test command. So imagine like these aren't like blue wool. We could say like they're redstone or they're diamond blocks or whatever. There'd be certain combinations that whenever there's a test for command run on this armor stand, it'll test for it to see what blocks are here. And based off of what blocks are here is how is essentially maybe could lead to some crafting ideas, could lead to some effects given off, some maybe some looting effect when you're crafting. You have a better chance. Like if you did like all lapis blocks on this thing, maybe it would give you a better chance of gaining a extra item off of your craft, something along those lines. So that's what I was kind of testing out with this command here, which is basically just a command that summoned an armor stand. So what this command block is, and it's named test. And basically, we ran a command here that is running the execute command, which we so dearly love. The execute command is great. And then we're running a test for block. I'll highlight this for you guys. So we're running a test for block command with a offset of 1. And that offset of 1 is going to be what will decide what will decide like where the block is. That offset of 1 is that coordinate, and the stone. So if we run this command, we'll see that it says test successfully found a block. So that's the general concept. Like if we were to say over here, do this easily. Oops, did not paste the command. Like if an armor stand is sitting here, we can test for this armor stand in its relative coordinate, which is going to be the bottom half of this. This block here is where it's going to test, and test to see what kind of blocks are here. So if there's like a mixture of like, I don't know, lapis and maybe 1 gold, maybe that gives us some sort of efficiency crafting or a faster time. And we can, infinitely do this. We could have, something along the lines of, let's see where I just saw the blocks a second ago. Like if there's diamond blocks here, we can say something to the likes of, let's get this one more. We say something to the likes of, these 2 diamond blocks will increase some sort of property. So that's the kind of idea that I had, because I want to do like a magic, some sort of a magic command, I guess. Because I don't really do that much stuff with magic, as far as like any mods or anything like that. If you've ever watched any of my mod series that I don't do very often, you'll know this, that I don't play around with magic too much. But I wanted to try it out. So like a combination like this, and without rain, although rain would be a cool idea as well if we could test for the rain, see if it's raining or not based off of crafting. But there's so many, like, the idea is basically that we can do as many blocks that are in the game as possible. So we can do like thousands of different combinations as far as, giving off effects like regen if we wanted to for this altar, or something along the lines of, this is a command that's, or this command or this combination of blocks will say something along the lines of, will give you a bonus item if you craft a certain item. So many different combinations I'd like to add. So this can be a much larger project, obviously, than our last one. Our last one was more of a test to see if I wanted to do development on camera, and hopefully you guys will like it. So that's kind of the overall test. But yeah, so alright, let's do this. Let's go ahead, and I want to work out some of the commands here. We're going to just start very basic. Give me 1 second here, guys. Alright guys, sorry about that. I was actually checking something very quickly there because I messed around with some audio settings and this song is relatively loud, but I noticed in the past couple recordings the music has not been coming through. So it's louder for me than it is for you guys. So that's kind of why I was concerned, like, is it too loud? But I think we're good. So we're gonna start off with the basics here. And the general thing is we want to figure out how much of this altar is required. So, because we can test for each individual block, and so I had like thoughts of if you put like birch wood in the first ring, you can have another property or something along those lines, which I think we will do. Just because if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. That's my thing. Like, if we're going to do this command, I want to do something just insane. So, I think that's what we'll do. We could say something like, if you have spruce wood as your second layer, it will, you know, increase your ability to craft wood items faster, whatever custom items we add. And this will all be kind of based around, to begin with, the magic command that we're going to be releasing or going to be working on, and this is just kind of the almost the cornerstone of it all, or the anchor, this system working. And so essentially what I need to do is get the system working, and then if this thing works, we can then kind of use this in future crafting and so forth of other commands. So we can make this very diverse, in a sense. So, yeah, but I guess we're gonna have to test for every block, which is kind of, it's gonna be annoying. It's gonna be a lot of commands to do it, a lot of individual command blocks to do it, but I think it's worth it in the long run to make it really nice. So, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of commands. Let's just put it that way. So, we need to work out, the first thing is how would someone go about getting the armor stand for this. And because we're going to definitely want to do an armor stand, because that's an entity that we can target without worrying about its death. I can't think if there's like another entity I can think of that's like, I'm trying to think. Because I'm worried about, like, if we make this really difficult to get, like, a player's gonna have a difficult time spawning it in or getting a new one, in a sense. So I'm not sure. I'm having ideas. I know the spawn egg, we kind of get back to a point where how do we obtain it? And I think we obtain it by maybe saying whenever a player gets a certain achievement, we can test it that way. I'm trying to work out in my head like a way for like a player to get the spawn egg that we're going to use, and that's the same problem we had with our last command, was the instance of getting a certain or getting the command like into the player in survival without using villagers, because I don't want to anchor everything off of villagers. So I think here's what we'll do. Let's first of all, let's say, what kind of block do we want to use for this? I think this is going to be a very I don't want to say end game necessarily, but it's going to require you to, depending on what item we use, we can require players to go full end game before they get into this command, which could be a thing. I think the end game needs work in Minecraft. I don't know if players are going to be interested enough to go full end game to get to this, though. So I think, because there's like 3 stages in Minecraft. There's the overworld, there's the nether, and then there's the end. There's certain items you can't get in the there's certain items in the overworld. There's certain items in the nether you can't get in the overworld. And there's certain items in the end you cannot get in the overworld or in the nether. I think the nether is a good place to target, because if we target the nether, it'll be kind of a middle ground. It's easy to get into once you get to the Nether, and I think that'll be a good space to try to work out the, I guess, the wizardry command that we're going to be working out. So we're going to look specifically at Nether items, and then we'll just go through and like we could look at netherrack, soul sand. I want kind of a mob drop. I think would be the best, or something along like a nether brick. And what we're going to do is we're going to just have the player rename it, and then we'll test for once the player renames it, then they'll get access to the spawn egg and everything that we're going to use to spawn in the armor stand. So looking at nether items, let's see. It's gonna have to make sense too, like something that's not just so random. You maybe want to do like a wither skull. Like you have to get a wither skull to get into the commands and so forth. It's kind of the first thing I thought of was the wither skull. It seems like there's a healthy balance there. Like if players have to choose between the wither or going through this command, I'd rather go through this command. But I don't want to anchor a lot off the wither skull because I know some people get frustrated with that too. So are there any other like rare items we could say? What about like an ender eye? Yeah, like an ender eye, because it's kind of like it's a mystical thing. So if you're getting into this, any of these commands and so forth, I think it would be cool. It's like a mystical sort of. We're gonna go with it. So, let's boot up Notepad here, and that's something from earlier. I don't know. So yeah, this will be our new command, and this will be our, I guess, our crafting altar command, because I might just have this be its own separate text log, or its own separate own separate text log. And the reason I'll do this is so that way it's easier for us to go back and edit things and figure it out, and then we'll code in the wizardry. Basically, we're building the altar to build out the altar's like our foundation, and we're going to do the wizardry, but we're also going to do so many different other things just everywhere. So I hope you guys are following here. So let's call this just the crafting altar for right now. And our first command is going to be I guess we're on a /clear at p. Let's see. Minecraft. Ender. I think it's Ender. Ender eye. Oops. Notepad. Okay. Custom name. And we'll call this. What do we want to have a player name? I guess crafting altar will be fine. So player names it crafting altar. Yeah, it seems simple enough. And then we're gonna check for it at zeros. Like, and the reason we put all zeros there is so that it doesn't actually clear anything. It just tests for it. Boom. Alright, hopefully I wrote the custom name correctly. Try switching that. so it didn't find the Eye of Ender because it has a custom name attached to it. We just need to switch the coordinates here where those are at. So 0, 0. So it's just basically going to clear at P Minecraft Ender Eye. 0 as in it's not going to take anything from us, but it's going to check to see if there's a custom named crafting altar. So then if we run a command of /give at P Minecraft Ender underscore I 1, 0 custom name crafting altar. And let's just we'll copy that over to Notepad just to have it. Oops, I did not put quotations. Alright, I ignored my custom name. It's got an MBT tag that we've given it. Let's see. So it's just not showing up here. Oh, did I not put custom name visible? Is that what it wants? Just add that custom name visible 1. That isn't right either. I mean, it's finding it, it just doesn't show up on the actual Eye of Ender. Let me just look this up real quick, and just because I want to see it, I think it should change in the altar anyway. That's display. That's where I messed up. Display. Name. Crafting. Altar. There we go. It does have that one NBT tag. Let's check this. I think this has got to get switched over to a display as well. Name, crafting, altar. Can't spell altar. Can't type altar. Okay, it doesn't like the space there. Yeah, so now it finds it. So it doesn't like the space there, so it's going to be crafting altar underscore. I'm so ready to turn off on some sort of... I think this is a weather cycle. I forgot. Let's see. Game rule. Do weather cycle. False. No more rain. So, alright, so we have the crafting underscore altar, which that will be used. I want to make sure it works in an anvil correctly. Just to make sure I'm being careful. Toss that out for a second. Oops, that's the wrong one. Okay, yeah, it is finding the one that will custom name. So good. Alright, so same deal. Alright, so we need to pick a block first of all to build this on. I forgot to do that. I like to pick blocks that haven't recently been added so players can potentially play this in older versions. So we'll say for this one, because it's so reliant on a lot of things working, let's just use bedrock. Kind of made the mistake of the last command not using bedrock. We ended up using a bunch of barriers, which was kind of taking up more space. Alright, so let's get a platform built here. Okay, and then the initial command is going to be this here, always active, and it's going to be this command. So let's get everything put back into Notepad here. Running that clear display. Alright, so let's label this as the test 4. Switch this over to negative signs just to be more organized as much as possible. Okay, this is the test 4. This is going to be the give. Okay, let's be more specific. Test 4 crafting altar. Give crafting altar. And then let's copy over this command. Okay, so we just have the give and then the clear, which should work out fine. Okay. Just looking at something real quick. I'm not sure. Oh, I guess because we have the quotations. I'm curious about something. We forgot quotations. That's what was messing this up. Okay, so we can't do the space, which is much better. And this gives us the altar. Good. Alright, so that works. I just forgot to put quotations. I noticed that when I was looking at the code. That's why we put the code into Notepad, because it's easier to look at. Also, so it highlights my stupid mistakes. This is good times. Anyways, okay, so we're going to copy over the test 4, which is just going to be a repeating command block that's always active, with a comparator. I'm not sure if I want this always active, actually. Actually, so we'll do it like this actually. Okay, so then we will actually run the clear command once it's successful. Set that to 1. So basically it's going to test for if I have the item, the crafting altar, and then if it does find it, it will clear it from our inventory and then give us something in return, which will be the spawn egg. So that will work. Then we need to figure out the spawn egg, which actually will use the same command that we just finished up with, which is the spawn porter. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a little bit of repetitiveness, but I just want to demonstrate this. So if we do /give at p Minecraft stone, I can just type stone if I want to. Okay, so if we have crafting altar, interesting. What did I screw up here? Because it's the same. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Okay. It's, 1 here. It's been a while since I've done commands like this. So, as soon as we get this into our inventory, it'll clear it out of our inventory and give us stone, in essence. So, if we want another one of these, we just say, give me another one of these, and then it will give me that comparator reset. Oh, this comparator did not reset. Let me just do this. Actually, now I need that there. There we go. Let's do it like this. So, torch. Perfect. Right? Yeah, let me give myself one of these here for a second. So anytime we get one of these in our altar, it should give us stone. Or it should give, anytime we get one of these inventory, see how it's giving us stone? It's basically seeing that we have the item and then taking it immediately out of our inventory and translating that into stone. Now, that will change eventually, or that will change over to the spawn egg that we're going to give ourselves. And to that, I reference our code for the spawn porter. And it's just going to be give at p spawn egg, and we're just going to copy over all of this. So, a command. Give spawn egg command. There we go. Okay. And so for this we will change the name to altar. The lure will be summons. We're going to use a wither, I think, will be cool. Do we want to use a wither because it's going to have that boss bar? I don't know if I want to use a wither if it has the boss bar. I forgot about that. I think there's a way to remove it in 1.12 if we can remove the boss bar, but I don't want to remove it for I don't want to remove it for all the withers. I just want to remove it for that one. Let me look here. Remove boss bar Minecraft. I don't want your bucket command. Hide the wither boss bar. Looks like it's a client-side thing that we can't remove right now. I know there's a way to do it in 1.13 that's coming out, but I don't see one for 1.12. So we're going to use a wither skeleton instead. And we're going to summon a wither skeleton. Summons wither skeleton. I'm going to say wither skeleton. We don't want any lore, actually. Summons altar anchor point for altar. We're going to switch this to the second line of lore. Can't say that. For altar entity tag. Is it just wither skeleton? Double check. Yeah, okay, good. Right, sword. So we're going to summon with a wither skeleton with no AI, and so that'll be our mob that we use. If it's named, it won't despawn, and we're going to give it like regen and stuff, so hopefully it won't be able to be killed. Is that the right call? I think so. If we turn on no gravity with it as well, so in case for some reason there's a creeper explosion, that should... I'm trying to think, because I think like if there's a creeper explosion, it should kind of be like part of it. Like if you lose it to a creeper explosion, no, we gotta go get another Ender Eye and rename it. I think that might be an interesting thing that we can do. So why not? And maybe it'll encourage players to maybe throw a regen potion on the wither skeleton. If they think it's taking damage. So I think we'll actually leave the wither skeleton alone. So let's look at this. Okay, wither skeleton, custom name. Custom name will be altar. Oops. I'm going to do this, actually crafting altar. And then custom name visible. And that's going to be 0. Because I don't think I want that name visible. Okay. This should be good to go, I think. I hit control. Alright, let's just test this. altar summons anchor point for altar. It spawns in a wither skeleton that might have AI. No, it doesn't. Good. Alright, so it doesn't have AI, but it can take damage. Which is interesting, but I don't think it'll be a problem. Or it's what we want, actually. So, let's get that going there and there. Okay, so we have the... I think I might stick to that spawn egg, because it looks like a cool spawn egg for it. Okay, yeah, and this is the wither skeleton spawn egg, which is... Yeah, that's why I was looking at the command, like, I swear that the spawn border command was more complicated. It's because we were actually replacing that with a portal, and then we were also getting rid of the mob. But this is just going to be a straight spawn egg, and wherever you place this down is where one's going to spawn. It will remove from your inventory whenever you place it, as it will be survival. So that will be our command for this here. So now, whenever we give ourselves, I'm going to copy over this command actually. It's our test command here, like that. Alright, so whenever we give ourselves one of these crafting altars, it'll actually replace it with an altar here, crafting altar here, and summons anchor point for the altar. Let's add some more lore to that, because I actually thought of what I want to do. Let's have that as one line of lore, and then the next line will be must be placed in the center of the centered place centered on altar. I'm just trying to keep this condensed because lore text can get real annoying if it's a long bit of text. Let's go home and Control C. Okay, so now if we get ourselves one of these, here's an altar which just says summons anchor point for altar, place centered on altar. Let's actually switch that to crafting altar. Point for crafting altar. I'm going to leave it just centered on altar. So, because altar twice there, it looks a bit weird. C and Control C. Okay, so now if we do this, gives us the altar, summons anchor point for crafting altar, place centered on altar. There we go. So that looks good. I like it. So keep that in our back pocket for a second. Okay, and then what we are going to do is then create a almost a latching system in a sense. And I might run this off separately actually. We're going to run a constantly running, let's move this for a second over to here, will be fine. Okay, constantly run command that's going to test for at test or test for at entity type equals wither underscore skeleton name equals, and I forget what I named this guy, crafting altar. Name. I know, it's because of the space. Let's do this. I switched all just to one word. Make it easier. Give me 2 for some reason. Interesting. Okay. There we go. So that's finding the crafting altar here. Should be good. And then let's copy over this command. I should be writing this all in Notepad and not writing in command blocks for some reason. Okay, so then this is going to be our, so after the command is given, or after the spawn egg is given, this is the test for crafting altar. And then let's switch all of this code here to the underscores. So there's a crafting altar there. Test for crafting altar, good. And then paste that in. Okay, so then our next command is going to be, so then we're going to test for if that is existent. Then that will, I want that to create like almost a permission in a sense, like to say, okay, now all of this stuff is available for use. I'm just trying to think how I want to do that. There's a couple ways I can do it. I don't want to do anything that requires like a lot of, it'll be in the spawn chunk, so it'll be okay. Like that's what, pretty much for most commands, it's wise to keep everything in the spawn chunks, because even I think command blocks have trouble in spawn chunks, or if they're not in spawn chunks, they don't load. So I'm trying to think how I want to do this. As far as, it just needs to be something like a piston like a piston moves or something like that. And I don't want to use a piston necessarily because I think it looks a little bit tacky at times. So I'm just trying to think of like, if we do like a set block. Like a set block that gives permission. And if a block isn't there, I guess it can I guess, be purely based off of just a comparator here. Looks like a repeater, and then a line of redstone that will then allow something to happen, in a sense. I'm just trying to think of like the command blocks in the future, how they're going to work. And I feel like almost we could do something like, if we did this and then we do like a line of command blocks. And each one of them, we're going to write or we're going to say that it's repeating always, but it needs redstone to work. And I think we'll do that. So this will be like our crafting recipes will go here. And it's just going to test for if there's an item near near an armor stand. If it finds near our armor stand, or near, sorry, not our armor stand, our wither skeleton, and if it finds our wither skeleton in the item that's near it, it finds that, it'll then check for another item, and it'll check for another item. And then if it finds those items, then it will delete them all and give a new item. So that's how the crafting is going to work. This is a very old system that I used to do all of the time for command blocks, back when I first started command blocks, which was 2014. Whew, it's been a while. And I'm still not very good at them, but I decided to create some custom crafting, was the sense. So we are getting a little bit long on the video here, so let me just demonstrate how it's going to work. Let me look up the test for item command. Test for item on ground. Let's see. Okay, so this looks like a sample command somebody put out there. Let me just look at this. So it's going to be test for at entity type equals item, then item ID equals whatever we want to give it, and a tag can be display. So I'm just going to delete the tag and just have it as that. Okay, let's just label this as the test for item command. And then we're going to say to this command block, and let's write this in Notepad so I do this correctly. So this will be our test for item command, comma, near wither skeleton. In fact, actually near crafting altar. Okay, so it's going to be /execute at entity type equals wither skeleton, name equals crafting altar, and then we'll say this command needs to run. I guess players directly need to throw the items there. Make sure they land directly on there, and then run our /test for at entity type equals item. It's a little weird that there's a space there. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be there or not. We'll find out. Item, and we'll say ID. Oops, item. Another curly bracket. ID. Minecraft, and we'll say this is going to be stone for right now. We're just going to test it. Home, redstone, so we'll say, let's actually just test this right now. So it's finding that. Failed to execute test 4. Let's see if it runs like that. Failed to execute test 4. I wonder if that's because the item isn't there. Let me just double check to make sure that's not the case. It should be right on him. Not quite working. Is it test for item that got switched to? Looking at the commands here. I want to do scoreboard. Use item, custom. It's all older stuff, which is problem. Let's try it like this. Oops, I'm not tapped in. Still not. Okay, it's a test for at entity type equals item name equals item name equals. I wonder if we just said stone. Is that gonna? That might not work. If that works, I'll be impressed. Didn't think so. Let's try this one. We're just going to try every one of them. Test for item. I don't want custom name items for everything. Rules. It's not going to work. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work. We're just looking at different commands now at this point to figure out what's this for drop item. Come on, Planet Minecraft, you can load up. Alright, try a different one.
You say it's all my fault, I walked away from it all those memories haunting our fall. A single life has come at the right time. I gave you a chance to treat me right. I'm a blank canvas you can paint. Draw yourself a future with me. It's a mystery what awaits. Oh, it's a miracle life. It's a miracle day.
I want to use scoreboard commands. Like, scoreboard is going to be setting up a lot there. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's more of just I can't do that as easily. I have to run commands as soon as the player spawns in versus just versus just what we're going to do here. Let me try this. ID Minecraft stone. There we go. Now it's finding it. So now it's finding that tile entity of stone. So see how the crafting altar exists? Now we throw it on the stone, it finds that. And that's all, essentially all we're doing is, once it's successful in finding one thing, it's then going to check to see if it can find another thing. If it can find that, it'll go on to the next one, and so on and so forth. So anytime we throw down, like, if we throw it on stone, it'll say, okay, I like that, I'm going to put down, and then I'll go to the next one if we say it also requires a diamond block. Then we can even add that into the command here. Repeating needs redstone, test for item, diamond underscore block. So if that works, like so, and then it will also throw in a diamond. You see how that text there is showing up as the block diamond? That's also defining the diamond. So that's how this command is essentially going to work. I just had to figure out that I always forget the testing for the item. So let's just see. Actually, this is what I need to erase and replace with that. Oh, we forgot. So our command did not differ at all. Our command, so if we look at this, you see how we didn't have quotations there? That was our error. That was our only error right there, was we didn't have quotations. And I guess we had, we also had a slash here. But other than that, it looks like we're good there. Okay, so we've gotten that worked out. We are running a little bit long here on the episode, so I'm going to wrap it up here. But I hope you guys enjoyed and kind of get a glimpse of how the crafting system is going to work for this whole entire altar and so forth. We're going to work on the crafting recipes and figure out exactly what we want to craft, so we can craft anything, like as far as it's a custom item, because all we're going to do is say something like along the lines of, we'll say something like if you give these certain items and then you craft it, and it'll give you like a staff or something like that. So that'll be what we'll work on. I'll also experiment. I guess we can technically find multiples of an item just through multiple command blocks. Not really. So it's going to be an issue, because I'd like to be able to say like 8 stone and 1 diamond block gives you something, but I don't think I can count 8 stone. The only thing I can think of is that if maybe we did something like, instead of doing something targeted on the crafting altar, we say something like targeted on top of the diamond block or something like that. And we could test for that. And I know a lot of people are concerned, well, how do you test for that if there are entities? We're not going to put armor stands on top of each of these blocks. We want them interchangeable, obviously. What we would do is test for an item at a certain coordinate from this crafting altar, and we can do that based off the execute command and this bit of coordinates here. So if we were to say a 1 block offset for the diamond block, let's see, I need diamond, disk, diamond block, and stone. So we throw the stone. It's landed there, now positive in 1 in the x coordinate, which would be to the left here. If we throw a diamond block to the left, it finds it. Even though it's not right on that, it's seeing that diamond block. So if we throw a stone there, and we throw the diamond there, it is still finding that. Interesting. Oh, I get it. Okay, so it's not quite working how we expected it to. It's working, but we can throw these anywhere, and it'll find them. So we'll have to work that out. We can add a coordinate to that. So yeah, you guys let me know. I'll try to figure that out off camera. I thought this was working better than it is. But yeah, let's get rid of this wither skeleton, so that, or this crafting object, I should say, so that we're not spamming the chat here. But yeah, so we'll work on that, I guess, off camera. I thought we had that working, but we will have to work that out. It's basically, it's just running the command one block away, but it's not actually testing for an item at a certain coordinate. So I think we can add that in, though, in some way. We'll just have to work that out off camera. But yeah, so anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know ways that we can improve this command. If you guys know the coordinates, let me know, and hopefully we'll get that figured out at some point here, at some point in time. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.